There's a car that drove up the lane of the farmhouse, and it was the mayor of Newton, Iowa, where my grandma lived. And I remember as a young woman thinking, wow, the mayor is coming to see my grandma. That's pretty cool. He offered her the key to the city. As a woman and watching my grandma for all my life to realize what she's done to get that key and what she had to do for the community, family, herself, that really changed my view on what I do in the community as well.
And I think watching her younger brother grow up suffering from schizophrenia had a huge impact on her life goals and her mission.
He was a Marine, and he was the most wonderful human being. And with his diagnosis of schizophrenia, it was very tough for him at times for people to be able to communicate with him. And I always watched people kind of stand back and just not understand what he was going through and what he was doing. As you can imagine, the disease of schizophrenia is challenging the way it is, let alone navigate through life on a normal level. Every time he would go somewhere, somebody say, oh, he's odd, or he's schizophrenic, or they would just label him. And I think that labeling is what caused my brother not to want to reach out in society anymore.
Looking at the story of her brother Steve and how that impacted her throughout her life, and the stigma that Steve had been associated with, really became this beautiful movement that we have with brain health.
I remember very well at 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and thought we need to change language. So I woke my husband up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I said, we need to do a billboard campaign. And he said, okay, let's try it.
About 4 years ago, Debbie and I came together around this topic of brain health. I admire her so much for her persistence and determination.
The school districts are using the words brain health. We have physicians at Mercy One, Finley Hospital using the words brain health. And we've also gone through the state.
Legislation has changed in Iowa because of Debbie's push to get the Iowa legislature unanimously to pass a bill that changed the language to brain health from mental illness or mental health.
When we do change the language, we see that people have a more positive outlook on what they're going through, and there's hope for them.
Van Gogh dealing with all of his brain health issues, looking out that window and seeing the sunrise, and there's something so symbolic about that artwork. While yes, it's a starry night in the picture, that sun is rising. You're getting that positivity of a new day with that dose of reality, having that village out there.
The very first brain health meeting that we had, the sheriff was there, and he said, there are more people in the jail with mental illness than there are people who committed crimes. And then it was about 3 years of meetings of really working through what resources do we have, what can we change.
We were tabling at a school, and a mother walks up and she was crying, and she said, thank you so much for doing what you do, because now I can go home and tell my children why their dad can't go to work at sometimes. It's a brain health issue. It's not a character flaw or a choice. And so when I heard that, I knew that we were doing something good.
There's now an assessment before someone goes to jail to determine, is there a mental illness? Should they be on meds? Should they be seeing their therapist while they're in here? Now we've got a partnership with Loris where there's a social worker, and that person has help getting back on resources.
The great thing about the brain health retreat rooms is that we are teaching young people.
There's a card that the students fill out when they come in, like how they feel when they're coming in. You can put headphones on and listen to music. There's another where there's fidgets, or you can just lay in a recliner and relax, and it's a beautiful environment. So a teacher who has a student that's struggling now has access to resources where they could really help someone.
And even at Wanderwood Gardens, being out in nature, we are building these healthy brain habits.
I think your brain needs to slow down and just relax during the course of a day, at least 3 or 4 times a day.
Or brain exercises into their daily life at a younger age.
Our children are our future, and their brain health and their ways that they interact are so key at a young age. There's so much we can do. There's meditation, there's walking, there's listening to music.
The new resource center down at the Impact Center, where people can go and learn and think together.
Art therapy is a really good component for brain exercises.
This is for every family, friend, caregiver, provider. It is for the community at large. So whether it's brain health now with the brain health retreat rooms, whether it's Wanderwood Gardens and getting kids out into nature, to collaborations with other organizations.
Dubuque Forward, I mean, we want Dubuque to be one of the healthiest and safest places to live.
People are going to forget what you say, they're going to forget what you do, but they will always remember how you make them feel.
It's not just my brother, but it's everyone. It's 1 out of 5 people that have a brain health issue, and we need to protect those people.